I'm human,
And I'm Spirit.
and this is Conversations with Spirit. Life lessons on the human experience from Spirit. Season 1, Episode 2. In this episode, we speak on the concept of you being enough and self-exploration of the body for further insights. I put this pressure on myself to, get a conversation captured today. I wanted to get that done. And so now it feels stressful.
Well, let's talk about that stress. You find yourself having stress quite a bit. A lot of stress, actually, in your life. You make stressful situations happen out of normal, everyday situations.
A little bit. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think part of that is because I, have high standards for myself.
And isn't that an interesting concept? Because it's good to want to grow, but it could be negative to expect. And if you're expecting from anyone, but if you're expecting from yourself too, could that not create its own toxic relationship?
Well, I expect from myself because it's not like I want to be, a piece of shit person.
Yeah, but isn't that already faltered? Because that's coming from a place of I'm not enough. If you think your baseline is you being a piece of shit person, that's gonna be an issue for you internally. That's gonna express itself on the outward. How often do you go around and walk and say, I am enough? I can breathe in that. I can have some freedom because anything else I do outside of that is just additional. But regardless, I already am enough. Do you hear that? Do you feel and see the power in that? I am enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever say that to myself, really. So I don't even know if I probably don't feel that way. And it might be true.
I think a lot of people walk around feeling that they're not enough or good enough. And it's okay to strive, and we're here to grow our souls, and we're here to grow. But you don't have to always do something to grow. And you don't have to go far to see that. Look at a monk, a guru. A lot of these people have large practices of being stillness. You could argue stillness is doing something. You could argue really that anything is doing something, but I think traditionally when you think of doing something, you think of this action movement, which is the opposite end of stillness. But you actually can see these very high, compassionate, high vibrational beings who are essentially practicing stillness and growing tremendously. So I just want to reverse your expectations of yourself that you need to be doing things to grow, because sometimes what you need to be doing is taking that space, which is a little similar to what we talked about last week. Bringing our presence back into the present to be the present and move forward from there, or stay. Through stillness, you actually get closer to awareness, and through awareness, you're going to get closer to love. True limitless love. It helps you sometimes, rather than being the doer, being the spectator. The spectator has a more loving framework because there's larger acceptance, because it's not part of the drama. We're not called human doers, we're called human beings. I think sometimes you need to set the space to just be.
It's hard for me sometimes. I get like stressed out being still sometimes, or I feel like guilty. Taking rest, doing nothing, I almost feel guilty. And that's just a really like a toxic framework. And I see it in the society since, I live in the United States. There's just so much of a hustle culture, and that's ingrained in you. It's taught to you, like, if you're not hustling, then like you're not doing it. You're basically failing if you're not hustling. Like, why aren't you working harder? And there's almost, now that I think about it, it's a little toxicity around that. Like, if you're experiencing maybe negative situations, like, that's your fault, you're not working hard enough. And that is toxic.
Yeah, I mean, those frameworks you just said to me, look at how it's teaching you the opposite of you are enough. Your baseline is enough. You're enough, and you already have everything inside yourself to keep growing. So not only are you enough, you already have enough, too. I think taking time to accept that, learn that, relearn that to yourself if you forgot it. Maybe you never even knew it, but to learn that and move from there, it will stop this outward, sometimes overly outward spread that honestly looks and feels unsustainable. Spread too thin, it's a term you people use all the time. But all you do are spreading outwards on a physical level, but spread inwards and up. You know? And then through that, you will go out into a holistic connection approach. You'll grow from there. It's getting kind of metaphysical, but I just think this outward physical approach is just so overstated that it's hard to watch sometimes. No one is telling you every day to just like go in, to sit, to be still. And that probably helps create a lot of the feelings of you are not enough. Well, I'm here to tell you, you are enough. Every single person is enough, and it's time they start telling themselves that. I think you should start telling yourself that every day. Just say, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Breathe that in. Let there be some freedom through that statement. You can feel it in your body. Because if you're starting every day not feeling like you're enough, you are setting yourself up for failure, and that does sound stressful. No wonder you have so much stress, because you don't feel like you're enough. See, all these things we're talking about and working, they're really trying to get you to a state where you can be more free, more light, because through that you can be more loving, you can be a higher vibrational energy, and you can keep moving up and up towards that. That is the growth we want to see. That's the growth you want to see. That's the growth you want to feel. And those are the lessons you came here to learn. You're enough. You don't need armor, you don't need reins, you don't need a hat, you are enough. And we're all enough. And we're all here.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I don't even remember how we started on this topic, but I feel like that's okay. It's kind of eye-opening to think about all the insecurities we walk around with, and they almost like they get branded onto our body through experiences, emotions felt, negative emotions felt, or even past life stuff. I'm not sure. It's almost like we get branded with all these insecurities, and then it's, we're spending our life to ultimately heal from them. It's almost like you wish you just never could have gotten them. Just started, clean, stayed clean, and be clean, and this, not have these brandings of insecurities around you and your body.
Yeah, and I think the insecurities you could almost look at, as a metaphysical way of these are less. Each insecurity is really an altered framework that it was derived from that needs to be healed from and adjusted. And I don't think it's you're doing something wrong, you accumulate these things, but you don't have the elevated framework. And so as you get them, and you can start dealing with them by adjusting the framework, that is an evolutionary process. And then you won't have to worry about getting more after that. So it's almost like through getting them, it's giving you the opportunity to adjust and evolve your framework. Which is again like why we've talked about why we're here, is to grow. So I think going back to doing nothing and stillness, it's like when an insecurity pops up, look at that instead of jumping to action, which you human doers love to do. Instead of jumping right into action, which has been the typical cycle, it's, do take that pause, do take that stillness, do take that break. Instead of jumping right into action, to look at the insecurity and see where is that deriving from. Why are you feeling that way? And what are you seeing to create this? And how can you transcend your own viewing of that deeper thing creating this feeling inside of you? Because an insecurity is something that will hang on. So there's something there more at the root. It's an opportunity to get more information from yourself. And be vulnerable and open to that process. And that is part of the beauty of the exploration of the self. I know you always think about how you wish you could travel to new places and new destinations, almost like Christopher Columbus. How all the land in the material world has already been explored. You sometimes feel uninspired by that. But what about the exploration of yourself? Your body, your emotions, your soul, that still remains untapped to explore, and you get to go in and you can learn and grow your livelihood from that journey. So everyone still has a journey out there for them. And there's still that exciting area to be discovered, and that's inside of you, not outside of you.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's, you make self-exploration and sitting with yourself and exploring your feelings seem much more appealing and appetizing than they sometimes are. So I like the spin you put on that.
Hey, we choose our spins. If you like this spin, imagine if every spin you chose you liked. Everything be spinning pretty awesome then, wouldn't it? So I don't know if we're doing basketball or what, but choose your spins. Spins around the globe.
I like that. Choose your spins. It's like, how are you gonna spin it? You gonna spin it up? You gonna spin it down? You gonna spin it all around? Sideways, left. Choose your spin. Choose your spin.
Yeah, choose your spin and explore you. Don't be afraid of your emotions. Don't be afraid of the bad feelings. Lean into those for discovery. Lean into the emotions for a greater discovery and evolution.
Gosh, that's almost like scary. It's like, I know you're right when you say that, but it's like, I also don't want to hear it, because there's a part of me that doesn't want to do that, to lean into the uncomfortable emotions, to take the time to self-assess. It's like, I know that there's going to be some demons in there, so it's like, can we do that tomorrow?
That's the thing. Demons, are they demons, or are they opportunities to take anchors out of your body and lighten yourself up a bit?
Well, there you go, spinning it again much better than I did.
Emotions are these supercharged, powerful forces because they're getting closer to love. They're almost a failed, not failed, but they're an attempt to express love, almost like this distorted attempt. Just because of, and I say this because the state of where many people's emotions are today, they're almost, this is almost like a little corrupted, but they're on the right track of this powerful catalyzing force. That's why you can literally feel an emotion shake through your body sometimes. There's so much power to them that they deserve to be dove into, dealt with. They're not something to worry about. They're not something to run away from. They're not negative. They're something that should be inspected, checked out, pulled back into yourself and almost transmuted. They're an energy. And if there's one drawing you towards something powerful, you immediately should go, why is this? Why am I feeling this way? And where's that coming from? And why is there this strong energy? It's like people have intuition too, there's an emotional energy. It's really something to be excited about, checking out your emotions. And it's something that you get to explore in yourself and through stillness and have them. So why not start making sense of them? And I think that's a good next step for you. 1, free yourself from the shackles of I'm not enough. You are enough. Tell yourself that. Remind yourself that. Make it a new mantra, whatever you need to do. Write it on your bathroom mirror. Just make sure it doesn't become stale. I want you to really feel it. You are enough. And 2, go explore your emotions. Have fun on that journey. And if it feels right, keep on cruising through your body. And bringing back the importance of stillness. Through stillness, we get reflection, awareness. And maybe the journey is just that of the spectator. It can go any way you want, but get comfortable with going inside the body, going inside the head, the emotions, the heart. Don't always reach outwards. Reach inwards. Because you are enough, and you have enough. How's that for you?
I decided to really take space. And I did that by focusing on being in the center of my head. And everything got so much quieter. I didn't even realize how much noise I had in my own head. And to take space and actually set the strong intention to do nothing, I just couldn't believe how peaceful it is. I can't believe how peaceful it is. Engagement becomes optional. It becomes chosen on your terms. Everything else just goes by you. You get to choose.